체력들 살짝 빠졌습니다.
잘 들어갔죠.
불사를 썼는데.
네.
Looks like, yeah, slept there at the front of the point. Now Fitz going to be taken down by Mono. Nene on the hunt, looking for a target. Will manage to find Vidoshin, who is already under fire.
안쪽에 잘 들어갔어요. 야!
지금은 정말 소리 나면서
The mortality kill buys a little bit of time, but it's actually going to be Jonex sniping Toby out from underneath him. The blade comes back down, cuts through Marvel. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another day of the Overwatch League APAC. And we have a very special edition broadcast for you. I am joined by Hex today, as Jaws has some technical issues that they're looking to rectify. So I'm going to be stepping in for what I'm going to be calling the Two Angry Men cast.
Well, it's not, 12 angry men, so like we're not going to decide somebody's fate at the very least. Yeah, no, it's I don't know. They don't pay me enough to just like kind of roll in and just like work with you, I guess. It seems like hey, Hex, are you up? Are you awake, or is it time for you to work? Like, I guess I don't know. But no, I'm actually very happy to cast with you, Seth, and we shall see some interesting stuff because APAC is weird in its own self, and then now like we have a very strange hero pool, so it's like APAC's going to be extra weird.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the teams that has been looking relatively comfortable with the previous meta with the Genji is NYXL, which is our first team that we'll go ahead and take a look at the starting roster for, and there's going to be some interesting changes here for NYXL coming out.
And like, it's nice to not have Libero on Brigitte, right?
Yes.
Haxel is only really known as the Genji. It's weird. Like, whenever I watch NYXL, I'm like, they don't really have damage dealers, do they? Like, they kind of don't have damage dealers. Like, what are they gonna do? So we'll see how it goes when like the meta shifts in this way. But I'm not really high on NYXL's damage dealers. I don't think they have the roster to really like hold sway in this next meta.
Well, I mean, like you said, we do have a Libero coming in alongside Haxel. Whether or not Libero is going to be back on something like the McCree that he showed us before would be interesting to see. I'm guessing that this is going to be some multiple projectile coming through. Haxel, like you said, most famous for the Genji, but we know that he can play the Pharah, he can play the Mei, he can play the Doomfist, all of which we've been seeing a little bit of a mix of, as well as Echo, especially earlier on in the North American matches just today. But one of the biggest changes is Hotba coming back in here in that off-tank position.
That's nuts.
And then we have Mandu as well. So some pretty stark changes for New York Excelsior, because we've been seeing a lot of Bianca since his debut. He has been starting, so this is the first time that they are shifting back to Hotba.
It is interesting because when you think about like New York, like way back in the day, you think of like Mano and Meko. Like that was New York. Mano and Meko was New York for a long time. Hotba was definitely a good tank to bring into that mix, but it has been up and down all over the place. I don't know. I don't think New York really has like the gusto to really bring it into like a new kind of meta because of some of the players that I don't think have the versatility. We shall see. They have a very, very talented opponent.
Yeah, well, they do. And they've been, you speak of up and downs when you talk about Hotba, but their opponents very much going through similar things, Hex. Had an interesting match just yesterday. It's going to be this whole Dynasty coming in for the series, and they were able to take down the London Spitfire. But can they take down NYXL? They are going to be running the same starting lineup that we saw just yesterday, with Marvel in at the start, at least for control, and then 2U alongside him, who had honestly a fantastic diva.
Yeah, it was a great diva. They ran like the diva Winston, like a actual pure dive. So Seoul is it's such a hard team to root for, man. Like they're so good sometimes, and they're so terrible sometimes. Though they really are just absolutely terrible sometimes to watch. However, I think right now, I think like given the hero pools that we have, if you have a Sombra, you're going to have a shot. And right now, I think Seoul has one of the best Sombras in the league. I think Fitz can really get it done. So that's what I look forward to going forward. But at the same time, like, I don't know, Seoul's let me down a lot of times, man.
You
Like, a
never know.
lot of times. Seoul's let
Yeah.
me down. You know that.
You never know what you're going to get. Normally, the phrase is you love to hate it, but instead it's you hate to love it.
I
If you're a
don't
Seoul
even love
Dynasty
hating
fan.
it. I hate hating it. I hate hating Seoul. I really do. I
Yeah.
want them to be good.
I mean, I think everybody does. I mean, elevated levels of play is nothing but good for the league. So if Seoul can level out and find that consistency, have that stride, then that would be fantastic for the APAC region.
They're
overall
almost
as well
500.
for
They're
Seoul's
like
chances.
they're not terrible.
Yeah.
They're almost like a 500 team. They're like almost close to being like kind of good, but everybody expects them to be so much better than they are.
It's been a bumpy road for them, but this could be them getting on the straight and narrow if they can have a competitive, if not, or a very one-sided series versus the New York Excelsior. That would be an absolutely major boon here for the Seoul Dynasty. So we'll see how they fare. Our first map of the series is going to be Nepal, as we will be starting on
Which
Sanctum.
will tell us absolutely nothing because we're in Sanctum,
Yep.
and people are going to run like a bunch of weird stuff, and we'll see what happens there. Obviously, as we move on through the meta, like Tracer being gone, Genji being gone, Zarya being gone, there's a lot of interesting changes. However, we're on control, so we'll see.
You never know what's going to happen on control. Can be very swingy, but here we go. Libro's going to be shifting over onto the Widowmaker, so straight out the gate is going for that, and it looks like Fitz is staying with the Symmetra, which is an interesting alteration here. So Libero poking out, and
was a
Seoul-
good hit
oh,
scan player for a long time. We'll see if he
I
can
like this.
actually just pop a shot.
Okay, well, they're just going straight at Libero. They will force it back into the dropship, but unfortunately, with all of this ring around the rosy, NYXL have gotten themselves planted on the point. The wall's going to be coming up to try to block off the Seoul Dynasty, and the lock-in does come through. Fitz going to be able to pick up two, though. Mono and Mandu both going to be taken down by the Symmetra.
That's gotta be
Now,
it.
the Simmons just, supercharged, can use the wall to just go ahead and get that beam ready to roll. NYXL still in control of the point for now as Hoxel tries it away, goes into the ice block, but will get popped out, will get taken down. And the Seoul Dynasty should be able to get this one. Yeah, the wall comes up to go ahead and stop Mono from making his way in. With the freeze on,
yeah,
they're going to look
Fitz.
for that stagger kill, and the flip will be coming through.
Fitz with the most amazing Overwatch play we've ever seen. He looked directly in front of his screen and then he held down his mouse button. Like, Fitz crushed it right there. But like, really, like, you take down the opponent's main support, their main tank. That's it. That's just kind of it. That's what happens when you're running this thing. And like, now they're in a really good spot because this is where you want to be when you're running Symmetra. It's like, you can't come in. You're going to get slowed. You're going to get messed up.
Yeah, wall again is going to be the battery here to charge up Fitz. He's going to go ahead and throw down the barrier, but it's eliminated by Libero. The headshot coming through, just cutting him out. Profit tries to turn things around. The Blizzard killing off Papa. That onto Doshin, but there's still some staying power here for the Seoul Dynasty. Some pretty significant staying power, especially if Kobe could survive, but Libero has the shot, does manage to take him out. And it seems like this will just be a delayed flip coming in. A little bit of extra delay, a nice charge from Mono, though, by Profit. That's the primary delay tactic that the Seoul Dynasty do have at the disposal. Marvel is going to be put in the corner, and will get taken out here. So back on the board is the NYXL, but Seoul Dynasty keeping things close. We'll see if this is just going to be one of those pendulum swing maps here, Hex, where it just keeps
They're
getting
chilling
flipped back and forth.
Yeah, they're chilling for a second. This is actually going to be like this weird main tank difference kind of thing. Because like if Mono hits a giant shatter, like that will change everything. However, there is still a supercharger for the defense of the Seoul Dynasty. So it's whoever gets more value out of their main tank is going to be the one who wins.
Yeah, Supercharger is there, and the Halt is just going to pull Mono right off the side of the map. Doesn't get an opportunity to go for that shatter as you were talking about, but we're going to be suffering a similar fate. Not quite sure what happens there, but Kobe finds the poop on a Hotpa, and the Seoul Dynasty are turning things around. Libero, however, is trying to shut that down. And Prophet barely manages to outwit Hoxel. Libero going to be pulled back around the corner, has no HP, gets the flashbang in, does manage to find the headshot onto the Bay, but will be eliminated. The fight is still going, however, as NYXL stretching this point as soon as they possibly can in their favor. 85% now on the board as the Seoul Dynasty, 84 rather. Seoul Dynasty do manage to get that point, but how long can they hold this for? So far, just a Deadeye, but with a Blizzard on the way, NYXL starting to get those tools ready, and they have time on their side.
This has been so back and forth, and New York really only has like the Deadeye, and Deadeye is a terrible ultimate. It's just not a good ult. But Seoul Dynasty has their support ultimates up, so they should be able to hold proper here.
You would think that. Dynamite going to be going forward as Spitz tries to get the Bob online, just 10% or so shy of that at the moment. Seoul Dynasty take the point off of the fight, look to match NYXL here on the side. Could be very dangerous territory, especially if Toby can get his way through there, getting some boops off into the pit. Deadeye's going to be rolling, going to be shot straight into the shield of Marvel. NYXL make their way on the point, 96% now on the board for the Seoul Dynasty. The bomb is going to be sent straight off the side of the map, but Marvel manages to find two with the pin. Hoxel and Atma both eliminated, and that should be it. Atma not going to be able to use the Flux. Mondu not going to be able to get the sound barrier. The OT going to bleed away, and a very close first round here, Hex, but 184% and Seoul Dynasty take it.
Yeah, definitely. They just walked onto the point because Deadeye did Deadeye things, which is absolutely nothing because Deadeye sucks and it's a terrible ultimate. And they just walked onto the point and they just put up a shield and they just totally rolled over the point. Seoul has looked way better the last couple of days. There's many things I want to say badly about Seoul, but I can't say that about the last couple of days. They've really adapted to the meta. They have a chance to come back into this and really like regain their idea of what they are as a team. And this is a great supercharger. It's a good pull. It's a good yank. Like everything goes well for Seoul here.
I actually wanted to keep watching because I think Marvel goes off the side. I think he actually tried to pin maybe into the May wall and then slid along and went into the pit, but without the replay. Can't quite confirm, but that's just going to be my assumption. Marvel now going to be swapping over onto the Wrecking Ball, however, as Hotba will be moving to the Diva. So we'll be seeing her for the first time so far in this series. The roll through not going for the pile driver yet. Waits for it, but lands in front of the shield, so not going to be getting any damage from that.
Trying to poke around here with Libero, maybe get a little bit of headshot, but it's a strange map to try to run this.
I would say a strange DPS player to try to run this. You know, Libero has always been very much a projectile specialist, and NYXL have been putting him in on this McCree. This is the second time now, I believe, that we have seen it, and it's not bad, you know, it's not like he plays a bad McCree. It's just interesting to see when you have Nene, when you have Sabiolbi on this line. A big Bionade connects onto NYXL, finding 5 members. They're not going to be fading out of that one to keep himself alive, as Mondu will get picked off. Marvel chasing forward, manages to find both he and the Libero. And it's been consistently just hacking and harassing in the back line. Almost has that EMP online as Coalescence rolls from Jonek, so NYXL still looking to maintain control of this point for the moment. Power Driver will pop in, almost has the minefield available to Marvel. As the EMP will hit, there's going to be 5-man EMP coming through, and that should about do it here. NYXL, how do you try and survive? Marvel messing up the roll, going to get flashbanged. Taken quite low. It looks like he will be able to stay alive here, but Seoul Dynasty still haven't got this foot get hexed. Bionade on the 2.
I know, but the idea is that you just survive. You just keep living there, and like you get it from 48 to like 55, and you finally get there. Yes, that was definitely going to be a loss for them, but they totally pulled it off for like 18%. And now Seoul has to just like really defend this idea. New York can come in with I don't know. Blizzard's probably their best push.
It's going to have to be the Blizzard. Unless 2U eats it. Because they do have that even now. So,
we'll see. They've been running a lot of that.
Yeah. Oh, Deadeye's out again. Not going to be finding too much there. Stones 2U away for the moment. The Prophet got the headshot on the Hoxel in that meantime. Libero trying to get the shot on the Toby, but it's being a bit too elusive with the help of the Valkyrie. But Hotman manages to take out 2 with the self-destruct. 2U going to get popped out. Doesn't use his own self-destruct. Knows that this is a bit of a wash of a fight, it would seem. And doesn't want to overcommit to that. Marvel just going to be trying to delay as desperately wants to get this EMP online. Nano's invested for those who tossed that onto the Wrecking Ball, and as they try to delay further. Mono with a really nice pin took Marvel off the point, but they can't finish him off. Into the freeze onto the Wrecking Ball, they will be able to finish him off as the EMP now comes through, but only finds Mondu. With that, with a Bionade on the 3, Seoul Dynasty just aren't going to be able to find any picks, it would seem. A bit of damage coming out, taking Hotball rather low, but they haven't been able to break him out of this mech yet. It seems like NYXL is going to hold this point now, getting ready to move up past 75%.
Yeah, they're happy to hold this point at 75 and counting up. There's never been an instance where Seoul even looks like they're going to sneak this back. Seoul maybe has one more push to get in there, and I think you open it up with like a self-destruct and then just hope that everything else goes well. You maybe nano behind it, but right now New York is just in a superior position right now.
Yeah, that was a great angle for that self-destruct. Roll through from Marvel will guarantee the overtime as it does start to bleed away. Fitz, if he can get an EMP online here pretty rapidly, maybe they have an opportunity. Deadeye's going to be coming out, but to use back into the mech zone, everybody should be feeling pretty safe about that one. Roll through going to be taking mono low, Bionade really helping to take him down as Jude pushes forward to get the killing blow. Bro, however, manages to find Bedosian. Jude's going to be melted out of the mech. Bro, isolated in the back line, will get picked off. Pops the shield, slides down the steps. Does manage to stay alive despite being frozen. They can see the EMP coming through, manages to find 4 members, but the kills are not there. Hoxall could not finish him off, and now that's going to be Blizzard coming in command. Freeze onto the Bob as he continues contesting the point here for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, but it's looking like we might be heading to a third and final round. Red does come in with Marvel straight back into the fight, and they move off the point for just a second there. OT going on for so long, and that is all that it takes for it to plummet. So 1-1, and looks like we're going to have our first map decided by Village now.
I think like the EMP when it comes off and like maybe it hits all 4, but it's just forward. You don't have the follow-up to really like contest that point. It was okay. It's nice that you hit 4 people, but there's, as a Sombra, you don't really do much damage. Like the gun's not that cool, and you don't really have the people you need to really follow up on that damage. So like that late EMP really hurts them. I don't know. Like Seoul. Look, I want Seoul to run Pharah. I really do. Soul's run Pharah for like the last couple of maps, and no one's been able to deal with it. It's been kind of weird. People have run Widow against this Pharah, and it's still not worked. Like, Soul's Pharah has been crushing.
If he gets picked here, I think honestly he might just end up swapping over to the Echo as well, just to have a bit of, faster mobility. Doesn't have anywhere near as much staying power in the air, but is a bit more elusive.
Yeah. But now they're in. They're in.
Oh, he's just jumping straight on top of their skulls right there. Could have gotten punished, but NY Excel saying, nah, we'll just go for the first cap instead. But now Fitz finds a pick-off, so that should be the go button for the Seoul Dynasty to start pressing in towards the point.
That's all they're healing, too. That's all they're healing.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Seoul should.
It's a headshot
Seoul
on the
should have this like twice.
Yeah. So they say, you know what, it's fine. It's just 20-some-odd% that we'll be giving up as we get this flip into our favor. 19 there at the end, and now Seoul Dynasty going to be in control. You can see Prophet actually not getting a whole lot of damage in, but the Pharah is always such a threat up in the sky that you can fully just reroute a team and make them take different angles of approach, or pack them into a corner inside of a building like because they're trying to avoid taking damage.
People say it's like not a lot of damage, but it's like, oh, I just took 100 on accident. Like, that's kind of a lot of damage. Like, if you don't really have an answer to it, you're just getting kind of bopped a lot of the time. So, yeah, this has been Seoul's bread and butter over the last week or so. Like, they really love the Pharah.
Yep. Oh, major roll through, and yet again a massive Bionade comes out from Bedosian. On the 5 members again. Barrage now coming through as the Diva gets popped out of the mech, and Libero's got nowhere to go, so we'll get finished off by Prophet, and that's just going to be a team white. Seoul Dynasty still in control. They have the res as well, so no chance of NYXL coming back in before Bedosian can rejoin with the team. So really strong lead now established for Seoul.
And how do you ever push into this? Like, yes, you have a McCree. Yes, you have a May. They're long distance, but, like, you kind of need a Zen. You need something to help you deal with this combo.
Well, another Bionade comes through. Coalescence going to be committed by Jonak, but Mondu is already gone out of the fight. Back around the corner, NYXL still trying to make things work. Hoxall barely manages to get the Blizzard online, but will not live long enough to use it. Probably for the better the betterment of the NYXL, because I think Tuyu was primed and ready to go ahead and devour that one. The Red brings
I don't think
here we are, Hex.
I don't think you ever can use Barrage here. Like, Barrage just gets you killed. Just don't ever use Barrage, Prophet. Barrage is terrible ultimate.
Either, I mean, if they can get Hotba out, then, you know, like they had for the last one, but even then, I tend to agree with you that it's maybe a little bit too risky, but now one, no!
Got
the
two.
support's just in onto the point with no tanks around them. That's a good barrage. That's the perfect time to use it. Alpha's gonna help. That's Alpha's basically was already finished off. Just now respawns with a repress. No way of getting there. And the Seoul Dynasty. We'll just go ahead and pick up map number 1. Nepal is theirs over the NYXL. Fantastic start for Seoul.
The best thing I can say to aspiring Pharaoh mains is just kill one person. Like, it's fine to just kill one person. Maybe get two. Maybe get two. That's nice, but don't try to get 5. You'll die. You'll die. You'll die in 5.
I mean, that was perfect.
Like that. Yeah, absolutely. And this is like Seoul has run Farah constantly. Like, people should be expecting this, and they've been able to pull it out better than most people have.
Yeah, I mean, Prophet just he takes the picks pretty well. As it turns out, Prophet is still very good at Overwatch.
Prophet's
He's been having a
good
little bit of a
player.
resurgence here.
He's
with the rest of the Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah.
It's a strong start, but can they keep it moving? Can they have a repeat of yesterday? That's the biggest question. It was, you know, a close-looking start to the series, and then Seoul Dynasty were able to run away with it. Maybe they can go for the back-to-back on that, because a 3-0 would be a major statement over the NYXL for the Seoul fans, and
totally
for everybody, you know, looking forward to them moving into the postseason. But we're going to see what happens. We're going to go to a quick little break, and when we come back, we'll have map number 2, so stay tuned.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. Deep flavor, deep crunch. It's a mind crunch. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
All right, welcome back, guys. It is now time for map number 2 in our first series of the day. NYXL going up against the Seoul Dynasty, the latter of which has picked up Nepal to start this series on the right foot forward. So, really strong start. I mean, close at moments there, but it really felt like Seoul Dynasty came into their groove in that last round of Nepal Hex and just kind of ran away with it.
Just based on watching like Seoul Dynasty play the most recent meta, which we're going to be in for the next couple of weeks, like it feels like they have it, right? it's nice because Seoul has actually looked pretty terrible in the previous meta. It's like they can't figure it out. They're running like Reapers in weird situations. Like they don't really have it. But like now they're running like Pharah, Mercy. Like they have this idea, and we'll see if they want to continue doing it because Nimbani is a little bit of a strange map, Seth.
It definitely can be, and I think that this is, why we're seeing some of the changes that are coming in right now. I have to glance over to my right just to, try and see my monitor. But Jester will be coming in from Marvel. We also
make
have
sure
Nene,
Nimbani was the map.
coming in for Hawksall, though. Nene is not subbing in to replace Libero, so this is going to be, it feels like the first time in a long time that Hawksall is going to be taken off the roster here for NYXL.
Maybe they're just looking for a long-range hit scan. I don't know. Like I'm probably the least Nene fan ever. I just don't. I don't think he's ever really done anything good for this New York roster. Like I knew the New York roster for like season 1. All right, no, fight me, bro. Like really,
I don't
really.
agree.
Are you ever afraid of Nene? Are you ever afraid of Nene?
I would have
not.
been absolutely terrified of him, especially in Goats meta, because he was fantastic in that. I think you're sleeping on the Nene a little bit.
Hard disagree. Hard disagree on that.
I think he's one of those players that when he hits a stride, the guy can just completely take over a series. Maybe there's large gaps in between those moments, but I think that when he does get there, he can be one of the most impactful people in a match. But there are
very large gaps in between those moments because I do not recall Nene winning a series for the NYXL. I don't know. Maybe I just missed Pine. Maybe that's that. Maybe that's what it is.
Well,
we are going to go to Nimbani.
Sure he can go through every single time that Nene possibly popped off for you. But Nimbani, with just the one change for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. So just Gesture. Obviously, Fitz, they want him on that Sombra, as we can already see it hovered, and Seoul Dynasty will be the first ones on the attack. Looks like NYXL going to be going for that double, hit scan. As we do have Libero showing us a McCree so far.
Yeah, well, even on defense, you always kind of want to run dive. This kind of feinty dive that you go up and you get all the cleave that you need to right over the doorway, right? So, like, this is not stunning from Seoul Dynasty that they're going to run Gesture on the Winston. Like, you want to get him right up there and just get the cleave damage and the stomp damage. We'll see what Excelsior wants to run against this. This is actually just like, it's kind of a very divey map. I'd be surprised if Excelsior doesn't run dive.
Oh, they're
Easy in, easy out.
checking forward. Fitz is he's just out in the open. Not even sitting in stealth. He's just like, I'm just looking at you guys to see what you're running.
I'm right here.
Peeks are
Just shoot
peeking.
at me.
Okay, will be the Ryan Diva. So interesting. Just kind of looking to run at the Seoul Dynasty, I suppose, because they have the Moira, they have the Lucio, so want to get in on top of him quickly and have that big healing output coming through. Libero going to get clipped by a Bionade, and it's actually going to be Nene taken down. Prophet finds a headshot, as the rest of the NYXL does loop back around the top side of the map. Nene at least can rejoin very easily because he's got the stealth, he's got that translocator, so it's not like he's going to be completely cut off from the NYXL.
It's not enough aggression, really. I feel like when you take out the other team's Sombra, you should just be going in. They are not, and they're waiting.
Ooh. Another Bionade finds the tanks. Mono falling low. He's trying to poke out. Good push there on the split on the high ground from Libero. Absolutely huge. He will get finished off by Gesture, but the damage is done. Both supports and Prophet falling to you. Getting knocked out of that mech. Does manage to find a Mega Pack, but Seoul Dynasty recontesting this point. It seems pretty much like an impossibility. 2U's going to be pushing forward though, but he's around the corner, can't receive any healing. He'll get knocked out, and it seems like that will be it. So a major time bank now established for the NYXL in the street space. Just shy of 5 minutes.
It's just a symphony of sadness. Like, how do you let a McCree walk up on you like that? Like, really? You had the first kill, and you just didn't do anything about it. I don't know. It's kind of indicative of how this team has been playing, how this team feels to watch.
Well, it's definitely not a great look. It was a really good split though for Libero.
Looked good. Looked great.
The rest of the team to get that distraction off. Yeah, and then okay, well there's another pick yet again. Prophet finds that one. So where's the flank from Libero? Just do it again and turns around himself. Will likely get slowed up. We do have a coalescence coming out. Deadeye's going to be popped from Libero, just looking to turn back to members of the Seoul Dynasty. As expected, not going to be finding any kills. Heart's still moving in this time though, so still gaining distance. EMP comes out, manages to find 3, both supports included. And looking for Mondu as he goes low, will get taken down by Gesture in the end. So they will find Mono as well. So a nice little fight, this EMP for the heart control. As Libero's trying to escape, but yeah, he's got nowhere to go.
And holding at the bus is actually really nice. Like, if you think about recent Numbanis, like, you generally just take first and then take third. Like, no one is really fighting at second point anymore. So if you can get a good hold at second, it's really nice to hold around this point. And they've got a really, really good Sarbor to do it.
Great dive forward here from Seoul Dynasty. Maybe this will end up being a bit of an overcommitment. Gesture does have that nano boost, is going to be hacked, but manages to pull back around the corner as the Bob from Prophet will finish off Mono. So again, just jumping in. They get the hack onto Mondu. They finish him off. So really nicely done. And Fitz nearly at 70% here. If he can get that EMP online rapidly by just farming in the back line, he might be able to shut down Mondu's down barrier here. So we'll see.
One thing I'd like to keep an eye on though is Seoul runs Mercy more than anybody else does.
Oh,
and they're getting value out of it.
Yeah, they really are. Toby looking great on that pick so far as Libero got set off the side of the map by just for the Primal Raid. Nice little smack. Cowboy flying. So Deadeye again not going to be able to find too much, and when Gesture's in Primal Rage, he doesn't care if you're trying to zone him out with a Primal. He's just going to out-zone you. So really nice pick off there, and you know, that sound barrier gone for almost no distance gain to the card. Coalescence going to be rolling, but EMP comes through, manages to hack Jonak out of that, so barely got anything done with that ultimate. Pickups come in, and this is a fantastic hold for the Seoul Dynasty. Like you said, the bus control is honestly pretty underrated, but you can see how great it is when you are able to establish it. Seoul Dynasty, I'm not sure if, you know, how NYXL can break through this, barring a major pickoff from Papa with the self-destruct.
Well, even if they get bus, they still have to fight like around corner. Like that's why the defense has been so good, is that they're able to make them have to fight 2 fights. And so far, like really, like Seoul's Mercy is just such a weird thing to me. They always get value out of this.
Yeah, look at this. The Bob just keeping the majority of the NYXL back at the spawn doors.
Yeah, but Bob's not a person.
Damage.
Well,
he's not, but you know. Just, they don't have the damage to deal with it quickly, so they just have to waste time. And here comes Fitz yet again. Gets the hack, takes down that translocator. Mondu getting pinched. And then Nano Boost tossed in from Jonak. The Bionade will help keep him alive for a little bit longer, but Fitz pushes forward to try to finish the job, and looks like he might just be able to do so. I think it's a little bit of healing as that mini pack comes in. So actually, does manage to survive, but it's at the cost of Mono and Nene.
Is there a better first kill? Is there a better first kill than taking out the other team's Mercy? I don't think there is.
Really.
I think that's the best possible kill they could have gotten.
Yeah, I mean that or Nene in the middle of his EMP. I think those are that's maybe the caveat to that. Is if you can just interrupt his EMP, then maybe it's slightly better than killing the Mercy. But yeah,
if Seoul's able to hit Q here, they should be able to hold. They have plenty of Qs.
Yeah, I mean Fitz is going to be looking to do that. 11% more, and then he's going to have his EMP, so he is lapping Nene in that regard at the moment. Dynamite going to be eating another Bob. About to be online here for Prophet as the cart does finally get broken away from the bus and starts inching around the final corner. Gesture playing up with 2U. Keeps it contested for now. Papa's going to be busting out the self-destruct, looks for a pick. Gesture dips around the corner with the Primal Rage. Nene now looking to get set up for the EMP. Protected and dragged out. Waiting for his timing. Bob comes out. Gesture taking a bit of damage, but the Nano Boost going to be used. The EMP manages only to find 3, and the damage starts to get pushed out as Gesture will fall, but it's going to be a trade out on the Winston's. Able to find Mono and still holds on to an EMP of his own. And they will get to the problem, but there's the res. EMP now out. That's going to be a hack in onto Jonak. Libero the first to fall. Follow-up hack now onto Hotba. No D-Matrix can't mitigate anything. He'll get taken down. Res up from Mondu will bring Libero back into the fray. And YXL in a miracle right now. They need this remech here from Hotba. They need to mitigate some damage. They need to keep those supports alive. Try to stay on this card. Meters left to go to get into B to get that minute and a half bump up on the time bank. Fourth down for Seoul Dynasty as Sleep Guard connects on the Fitz. They're going to be eliminated. It seems like finally NYXL will be able to push through this, but taken down 0 seconds before they can roll into B. So a really dire spot to be on for the final stretch of Nimbani.
It was chaos, and it was very poor target selection from both squads, actually, but eventually Seoul's healers both went down. Toby and Bedosian died right next to each other, and that should not really be happening. But it was just target selection. Like, they didn't really find the idea of where they should have gone in. They had a better push, but now Excelsior is going to try to hold on with less than 60 seconds to go.
Yeah, and Mono eliminated, so that's, effectively 15 some odd seconds fought. Looking for a little bit more now as the Esports will get eliminated here on the back end. So
4v nothing now.
Just get out, and Hotba has to exit. Make sure they doesn't get knocked out of the mech. Otherwise, he's gonna have to run to the side, hop off the map, and go for that kind of forced reset. So 30 seconds remaining now. Seoul Dynasty. Look how many ultimates they have already across the board. Almost all.
I mean, Seoul's fine, yeah, but I don't know. New York could just nano for some space, right? Nano for some space and hope to get a 2-to-1 kind of thing. But yeah, Seoul's in a great defensive posture.
Yeah, I mean, Nene has to be all in on the TMP, and they need to have some follow-up. Already, Mondo going to be taken down as he pops the Valkyrie. Fantastically done from Rob to Bob. He'll finish off Libero. Jonak going to be taken down. Stuff was structured there from Hotba, but they're not going to be able to find a damn thing. And Seoul Dynasty, even with the rest of their ultimates here, they won't need them. It's a celebratory self-destruct on their hold. And final corners as far as the cart is going to be rolling here for NYXL.
That can happen. You can't lose your Mercy first. Your Mercy is your go button right there. You're hoping to get the Valkyrie, hoping to get spread healing. You're hoping to get a lot done there. To have a Mercy die first is brutal, especially when both teams are both running Mercies, which is kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe it's not weird. Maybe we'll see this continue going on and how the games are going. But Seoul is really the only team that's just been running Mercy non-stop, and now I guess NYXL's trying to match that. But you can't lose your Mercy first. I don't know. I'm not a good player, but I play games, and I'm saying losing Mercy first sucks. That's true, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not what you want to have happen. But can we just talk about Prophet for a second? Because, good God, the number of times that he's just, either sniping Mondu out of the sky, getting headshots onto Nene, and just making sure that he can't build EMPs quickly. Prophet has been looking just across the board. Doesn't matter what he's on. The last couple matches, Prophet has been excelling. And it's never been huge for him, but he's looking great on this Ashe.
It is a strange year we live in that Prophet's not an MVP candidate, isn't it? It's a strange year.
I mean, it is, but when you
It's
look back at what has happened,
it's been a rough year for Seoul, but still,
without
it's Prophet.
context,
It's Prophet.
Yeah. Without context, it's definitely a really weird thought, but when you look at how things have transpired for him and for the Seoul Dynasty so far in 2020, then you're okay, I kind of get it.
Hey, if they win the next couple of matches, they'll be at 500. They'll be 11-11. It'll be fine.
Well, let's see how Seoul tries to push through. Libero just going to get damage boosted. Trying to hold the corner. Prince is still so... There we go. He's been trying to kill this translocator for the last minute and a half, and finally gets it. That's what he's done so far.
MVP candidate.
I love the commitment. There's great commitment there. He's gonna have to jump back to the Mega Pack. I mean, Libero's perfectly aware of where he's at, but messes up. Watches that coach gonna jump onto the high ground.
Dude, they got the Yana. No.
Okay, so
the
res comes in.
No,
This
is over. It's over. It's definitely over.
Brutal breakthrough here.
You can't lose your Ana.
Yeah,
they lost their Ana twice.
And it's in a neutral fight too. They don't even have to use any ultimates for this, so it's Hotba going to be pushing forward, trying to contest this for a little bit longer, but Jonak is going to fall yet again. They're chasing way in the back to get rid of Mondu. Melee will go ahead and finish him off, and it's 5+ minutes now for the Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah, it's all your healing. Like, Mercy's so easy to kill when she's chasing people around, healing them. Like, if you kill the Ana, you win the fight. You win the fight if you kill the Ana, and they killed the Ana twice. So, very well played by Seoul to just completely dive on the Ana. Jonak's not gonna beat us, they've decided, and they jumped him twice.
Nap time.
Nice little dart going to be connecting on the Prophet. But can they push him off? There's going to be no. Hat comes out. But still holding on to the EMP for an extended fight as Jonak is just desperately trying to keep himself and others alive.
My ultimate is charged.
Pushes back out onto the ledge and does see gesture. Gets a nice little sleep dart.
Get in there.
Nano Boost going to be tossed out. This one goes on to Mono. He's way into the back now. Jumping on top of Bedosian, but a hat comes through. He is surrounded and will not survive. Both ults to be dumped here from Toby and Bedosian with a Nano Boost onto Gesture. Spots Jonik again on that high ground, but goes up top. Bubble comes down, zoning them back so the card can gain some distance, get broken away from that bus so they're not in that choke. And yeah, it looks like it's working really well for the Seoul Dynasty here, Hex. Just the support ultimates used so far by them, and they are almost to point B.
No one holds second anymore. I'd be stunned if New York is able to hold seconds. That's a nice little over the top, but generally the offense just takes seconds. Like, Numbani, second doesn't exist anymore. You just take second.
Yeah, well, New York had to really fight for theirs, but Seoul Dynasty kind of just breezing on through. Still almost 5 minutes in that time bank. It's just to get the 2-for-1 melee hit, it would seem, onto both supports. But yeah, I mean, this has got to be an astounding hold for NYXL to stop the cart just before final corner with only a Primal Rage.
Yeah, well, 4.5, you think that Seoul should just never hit Q, right? Like, you just wait. You just wait. You should be able to get it if you just wait.
Going to be okay.
I'm kind of surprised. Mono used the Primal here. So, now are without that. Not the biggest, loss as far as ults are concerned. The Nano Boost is going to be, I'd say, a lot more valuable.
Yeah, they have both support ultimates to respond, but Seoul is in the driver's seat here, like, clearly.
Oh, absolutely.
You just wait for, like, EMP and Primal or anything, really. Wait for anything. They have 4 minutes.
Yeah, just keep farming. Valkyrie's going to be used by Mondu. Still holding on to his Nano Boost. Bedosian now has his online as well. As Fitz continues to just look for a prime hack target. And I like this. It looks like Seoul Dynasty just said, okay, you know what, he popped the Valkyrie. Let's just play this slow. Nice sleep dart will connect onto Fitz. They managed to shut him down. Jonik.
Not smart.
Bionade comes up with a hit on the Gesture as well, taking him low. Now the Primal Rage is going to be coming out. And he's going to punish Jonak for his transgressions. The Bob goes in, pushes up into the air. He's going to get knocked out of the mech, and it seems like this is going to be it. The slow play comes in for the Seoul Dynasty, the EMP for Nene, but it doesn't get anything done. And Dynasty will just push their way in with relative ease to a victory on Numbani, and now are up 2-0 and at match point over the NYXL. This is an incredible turnaround right now, Hex, that we're seeing. Seoul Dynasty are just looking clean across the board.
I don't hate the notion from New York right there, because, like, you're going to get rolled on if you just sit there. Like, if you just sit there and wait for all the things I talked about, like, they're going to roll in on you. So, like, they give it a shot, but, like, yeah, definitely right now, I think this meta suits Seoul the best way that any meta has really suited Seoul. Like, it's been a tough season for them, but, like, I think right now when you have, like, the players that you have to play, like, pretty much their best heroes, Seoul is looking really good. 2-0 over NYXL. NYXL, I want to like them more than I do, I guess what I would say, Seth.
It's interesting to see. I mean, NYXL have been, the team that's making some more erratic changes compared to Seoul Dynasty, who kind of have their set play. Marvel in for the start. Gesture comes in, for the potentially the rest of the series.
Sure.
And, Marvel just plays that main tank position for control. That's the only alteration that we've seen from them. NYXL are kind of scrambling to figure out what they can do to match the Seoul Dynasty. And it's such a reversal from what we're used to seeing, whenever you would compare these two teams in recent history.
I'm just going to double down and, like, try to get my Twitter hate as much as possible. I don't think New York has good damage players. I don't think they do. Hit me up.
Well,
I don't think New York has good
maybe-
damage players. Hit me up.
Well,
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
More hot topics like that potentially coming up in our game break, which is going to be coming at you in just a few minutes. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's now time for our game break presented by Pringles Wavy. We'll be recounting what has happened so far in our first two maps of the series. Seoul Dynasty leading 2-0, which a lot of people might not have anticipated, but this is not uncharted territory. We were referencing this yesterday, Wolf and I, about how Seoul Dynasty can go up in a series, and then suddenly, 3 maps later, maybe they lose it. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. NYXL looks very lost today, Hex.
Like, you
That's
guys
actually
have
a
to
really
do
good
your
summary.
No,
Feel about
this is
this.
actually my response. Like, I was prepping this. I was prepping this during my halftime. I was like, I have nothing to say. I have absolutely nothing to say for this halftime.
Well,
that you guys are forced to make in like APAC. You guys have to do your own halftime. But it was so strange to watch how good Seoul was yesterday, and like how I used to be a giant NYXL fan. Like, legitimately, I was a giant NYXL fan. I'm like, oh, man, they just chill. And Jonak just hits these. Lately, I think it's hard. I think it's hard to be an NYXL fan lately. You watch these teams just sit there and just get rocked on at a certain point. Seoul is rocking on you. Seoul is shooting you in the face. Like, how do you live your life when Seoul is shooting you in the face? That doesn't feel like you should not be able to live your life comfortably when Seoul, losing record, Seoul is shooting you in the face.
I don't think
I'm not a
they're.
big fan.
I don't think they're feeling too comfortable right now. But I mean, this is. I kind of brought this up. I kind of brought this up before we threw into the break here. And this will be our crunch time presented by Pringles Wavy. Is
Crunch time.
the inconsistency for New York Excelsior's roster right now that I think is harming them significantly. I mean, you've been very outspoken so far today about your opinion of the DPS players on the NYXL, but I think even if you have that opinion, I think you could agree with me that they need to find some consistency to build off of rather than just constantly moving pieces so that they can improve as a collective. Because right now it just seems like New York doesn't know what to do, like who to put in at any given time. It's like they're learning chess for the first time, and they don't forget which way the knight can move and which way the rook can move, and they're trying to remember that and figure it all out.
I think you hit it like right on the head. Like I really actually just thought of like Mano and Meko. Like that's what always I was thinking about. Like Mano and Meko. They knew where they were going to be. They knew that you were going to be there. You were going to be here. Like Mano and Meko was New York in Season 1. If you liked New York in Season 1, it was because their tanks were exactly where they needed to be, and that allowed Jonak to go nuts in the back line. Like, and they made some changes. It's not Mano and Meko anymore. It's not Mano and Meko. And I don't know. Like, personally, I know, but personally, peanut butter jelly, Mano Meko, like that's the same thing for me. Like I think that's where New York has lacked and has lost their identity. Their identity was like a slow push, kind of like weird, slow tank team, and that was Mano and Meko, and now they don't have that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and finding that groove with a new player coming in can be extremely difficult because Hotba is not a slow and patient player.
Oh no, Hotba is not Meko. Hotba and Meko are very different
fast
players.
He's very fast. He's very up in your face.
Yeah,
it makes me wonder. Is there limitations to Bianca? Is he not going to be strong enough on the Diva? So that's why they have him out. They want him to be more of a Zarya specialist, and that's why
I think he's played fine. He's just it's just gelling with Mano. Like I don't know. I think that's the difference.
Either way, I think there's a lot to be worked on here for the NYXL, and I'm very curious to see what the roster is going to look like for what could be the final map of the series. Because it is match point. Seoul Dynasty are just one step away from completely shutting them out of this set. And something drastically has to change for New York. So I'm expecting to see some pretty big changes again to the roster coming in. But the problem is I don't know if that is the solution. I don't know if it's better for them to change things up or to just keep the same 6 in and try to download your opponent, figure out how the Seoul Dynasty are playing, and then capitalize on any mistakes that they can make. I'm not actually sure what is the best opportunity here for the NYXL, but I think that they need to gel a little bit better. They need to find some kind of consistency here, whether it's in the roster or in the way that they're playing together. But it's rough tidings for New York and for the New York fans watching. But Seoul Dynasty fans, don't get too excited yet. Obviously, we still very much could be on a roller coaster, but we're going to find out. That's going to do it for our game break and for our crunch time. When we come back, we will have the rest of this series and see if New York is just going to get shut out or if they can start turning things around and try to pull off a very necessary reverse sweep.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles Wavy. Big crunch, big flavor. The Overwatch League is brought to you by HyperX. Unleash your style, unleash your fury with HyperX Fury Memory. And by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Are we on? I assume we're on, Hex. All right, there we go. We are on. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is always waiting for the countdown to come through.
Charlie got it out of my head. Yeah.
It's all right. But we are here. We're back for the rest of this series. And Hex, it doesn't look like there's much more of it to come. Looks like maybe just one more map because the Seoul Dynasty have been incredibly strong and the New York Excelsior are very, very lost.
It's I don't know. It's not really been close. It's so strange to watch both of these teams also because like sometimes you think New York looks good and you're like, hey, I know those guys. Those guys were good players in the Overwatch League. And then sometimes you watch Seoul and you're like, wow, Seoul should be a really good team. They have all of these guys. They should be very good. And then you slam them together and it's just terrible nonsense. It makes no sense at all. I guess Seoul is better right now. Like New York is, I don't know. Like as an old man, it makes me feel bad to say this, but New York is like kind of like an old man Overwatch. Like Seoul is kind of coming up and kind of figuring out like they're a better team right now. I'd be stunned. I would absolutely be stunned if New York runs this back. I think this is a 3-0 Seoul.
I think everybody will be stunned, and they're going with the option of making no changes to the lineup. We will still have Libero and Nene with Amandu in the support role, and Hotba still there in the off tank. So no sign of Anamo nor Bianca here today. So they decided that this lineup can work, and they are going to make it work. And I can appreciate that if we see some improvements in the synergy department here for New York Excelsior as they start this defense.
Well, New York has generally won games based on like their tank line, support line supporting them, and then like having a solid but not like exceptional damage line. And right now, when I look at New York, they don't have any of that. Like my favorite player right now for New York is like probably Jonak and Mono, and it's not enough. It's not enough to beat what Seoul has.
Yeah. We had yesterday's stat actually get popped up on the screen. Obviously, Seoul were able to take a 3-0. So, but it does show, how much improvement has come in at least on assault for Seoul Dynasty on Hanamura yesterday. But now I have to deal with Temple of Anubis, so it's going to be a very different beast. Libero starting on the high ground with the Echo. And I would still be terrified given how Prophet has been playing on this Ashe. So even if there's no McCree, he can still click heads. Almost gets the execution there on the Libero to finish him off. Yeah. Bubble has to be used by Mono to provide some cover. And Seoul Dynasty will just very slowly be inching their way forward, trying to get onto the point. But already Prophet finding the pick off Mandu. Would desperately love to get that res off, but he himself is under some fire. And that's like two. May just, does manage to make it happen. But yeah, they get the Ashe back in, but now they don't have the Winston. Can rejoin pretty quickly once the res comes up. Dynamite going to be tossed in, not going to be eaten by Hotba, so a lot of damage pushed out. Prophet already sitting on this Bob as Libero will fall after taking down Toby. A good pickup there for them as Seoul Dynasty will go ahead and move forward onto the point and get the first hit coming in, and with both supports falling, that is just going to be it at the end. Point A locked down now by the Seoul Dynasty, and it's going to be almost 5.5 minutes in the time bank for them.
It was almost going to be close when they got Toby because, like, when you have these dueling mercies and someone can resurrect somebody and it's going to be different, like, that was going to be the pick, but they traded pretty well. Now Seoul on the entry has damn near everything. The question is, like, what does Libero do late? Like, that's the question.
I would assume it's going to end up being 2U. Either 2U or Jester.
Oh my god.
Either way, they might not get an opportunity. Prophet is up on the high ground. He is completely uncontested right now. The Bob knocks Hotba out of the mech after he finishes off 2. Hotba is eliminated. Vince does die. Loses the EMP. So it looks like he died in the middle of that channel. Jester now just trying to gate people off the point, and Libero's actually going to go for a duplicate onto Bedosian. Goes for the Ana to try to get a nano boost in. And also have that extra bio nade. Self-destruct going up into the air though from 2. Looks for Nick, doesn't manage to find one. It's Bedosian dies to the dynamite from Nene. Mono receives the nano boost and leaps forward. Seoul Dynasty looking like they might just call the retreat here, as Gesture is almost finished off. Hack comes in
They pull the
onto Mono,
last.
so making sure the Primal Rage can't get much done. But yeah, this is going to have to be a reset for Seoul Dynasty, but look how much progress they already got. They're starting from the second tick. They make their way up to 94% on the first push, and they still have 4 minutes in the time bank, Hex.
Yeah, 33.5 is a pretty nice little push there. That they don't really have to completely crush the team to take the last point here, which is one of the things that sucks about trying to like fight on assault maps is you need like 99%, but now they only need 33. I don't know, like maybe you nano in the Winston and pray and hope, but that's got to be the push here for.
Oh. Mono not nearly as sneaky as another one. Look at that. Large rear end is sticking out, so they knew exactly where he was trying to hide. Primal Rage going to be coming through now for Gesture, as Seoul Dynasty already have gotten rid of half of the team, and they're pushing Hot Top back. He's going to be forced out of the mech, and that is just it. 3 minutes and 19 seconds for the Seoul Dynasty on Temple of Anubis is pretty damn significant. So a fantastic attack here for the Dynasty.
Let me ask you this question there, Seth. Do you think that the teams with better Sombras are better teams right now?
Yeah, you know, that's
I mean, it's a softball. I'm lofting it up to you, but like, yes, clearly the answer is yes.
It's been pretty huge. Sombra is very much the meta again. I mean, even just you know the last week during the Countdown Cup and whatnot, still highly impactful pick. Fitz is looking really good, and it kind of makes me curious from NYXL to not see Sapiobi come in and play the Sombra, because he actually had
like a
pretty
really
damn good
weird,
Sombra.
aggressive Sombra. Yeah.
Yeah, he played more of like a. Well, then it would be like, you know, we would kind of attribute it to Doha before he was in the Overwatch League, but akin to what we see from Lip now. So very fast, rapid building Sombra. So.
Yes,
I'm very
an EMP
curious to see
before you
Sapiobi
ever
not in.
expected an EMP to happen was kind of Sapiobi's gig.
Yeah, so I feel like that would be a pretty big pickup for them. Fitz just pushing up to the gate here to try and get some eyes on what New York is running. Libero not even going to go for the opening shot with the Widowmaker, just straight over onto the McCree here.
See you later.
I think APAC especially is always about the Sombra.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the biggest picks that we have in the region. For the hack with the shield, we'll go ahead and block that one off as Gesture just tries to get a little bit of cleave damage in onto them. Doesn't get too much done though. And now it's going to be high ground for New York. We do have this. Flashbang going to be down. New York can just go ahead and wait. Playing this one out patiently. Start now poking onto this mid ground. Dynamite over the top catches a couple members here as Profit. Looks for another very rapid building bomb. Doesn't quite get that shot onto Nene, but at least forces him off position and make sure that he's not going to be farming in their back line. Comes through, Profit picking it out. Libero going to be eliminated. You in prime position, capitalizes on that, finds the kill, and Hotba bionated, no HP, will just get popped out of the mech, so New York not going to be able to find this on the first attack. We'll have to reset and go again. This Mondo is trying to hide, but there's Dynamite. They drive home.
There's nowhere to hide there. Now you just chill, you just wait, and you just try to run like another 2 minutes off.
And I mean, you take a look at Fitz. He's about to have the EMP. He's farming it right now, 2% away. Nene, half of that, has just not been able to build this up. And for what I'm seeing New York run, I would want Nene on the McCree and then Sapiobi in playing this Sombra. Just at least on paper, from what we've seen historically, I think that would be the combination that would work the best. EMP is going to be coming through, though. Yeah. Jonik desperately trying to keep everybody alive with the Coalescence, but it does not matter. Production has a very nicely placed Bionic Grenade. Does manage to shut down that healing, and that'll be the shutdown on the push for New York. Dynamite in again. Jonik had already faded, can't get rid of the burning damage, so is just taken down And Seoul Dynasty have effectively already guaranteed themselves a superior time bank here, no matter what.
Yeah, Seoul's sitting on 5 other ultimates, and Fitz still has like 20 and he's coming up. Like, Seoul absolutely crushed that fight. They don't need to use anything. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of my talk. Seoul crushed that shit. Like, they had no reason to use anything.
Now, Primal Rage to go ahead and push out the members of the NYXL, break the team apart, and it's working a treat right now. Gesture looking fantastic on this Winston as of late, and they just, they clean him up. And that's 2 ultimates used, the Nano and the Primal, and we have to see NYXL reset and go again. Fitz climbing
let's
up,
see.
getting ready to
There's a
lap
minute left.
Nene.
There's a minute left, and Badoshin has to come back to spawn. That's the only thing we have to look at.
Yeah, I think that my biggest concern right now for New York, aside from the time bank limitations, if they can get point A, is going to be how many ults do they have to use to get this lockdown? Because if they have to dump everything just to cap A, then they are in a bad position.
Just throw everything they have.
Well, they're going to be really limited on time. The EMP comes out, only manages to catch 2, and it's Tuyu and Prophet, both of them being kept alive. Fitz now has another EMP. That's his second one to Nene's first that he just used, and it found nothing. He's going to push around the corner. The EMP comes through. Sound barrier from Mandu, however, very good. Eluded, getting hacked, and Nene now manages to shut down Prophet, finding that kill. Mono under fire, though, will be eliminated. The res comes in, puts Prophet back into the mix, and now there's a self-destruct here on the stairwell. Will hug in behind the pillar to stay alive. With seconds remaining, somebody has to make their way over to the point. Finally, few men to tag in. It's Mandu, but it costs him his life just to force out the OT, and I think that this is how it ends. Not going out with a bang, but with a very low whimper. New York Excelsior will see the OT bleed away and will be shut out of this series by the Seoul Dynasty. A very convincing and dominant 3-0.
I think this meta suits them very well. I think they're able to play the heroes that they really want to play when you're Seoul Dynasty. And does anything hurt more than just watching somebody res somebody in your face? Like, I hate watching somebody get rezzed in my face. But Seoul was able to do it several times. Yeah, I think this is actually kind of their gear, because they're able to have like a good DPS, and then you have Prophet, and like Prophet's going to be our player of the match. I don't know who sponsors this, nor do I care. But like, he's going to be your player of the match. Xfinity, right? There you go, Seth. But yeah, they have the players to like really roll around this idea of playing like anything you want to play. And yes, Prophet is still a good player, Seth. I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's the Pharah that we've known that he can play for a while, the Ashe that he's been picking up as of late, the guy's just still really great. It's like, okay, you know what? 2 of my more historical big impact picks in Genji and the Tracer are banned. Okay, I can play everything else just as well. We saw his Echo yesterday. He looked fantastic on that. And he's looking to be one of the most consistent hit scan players now that we have with this Ashe especially. The guy is still good. He's still cracked with his aim. And New York, on the other hand, is shattered.
New York's New York. I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough team to root for.
Yeah, I mean, I said yesterday I need to see more from the Seoul Dynasty. See how they're going to perform against, better teams than the London Spitfire. Whether or not they're going to be able to continue moving forward and looking improved. They still look fantastic here today. New York looking very lost, but that still does not detract from Seoul Dynasty's cohesion and the picks that we're seeing individually and the play that we're seeing individually, especially from the DPS lineup for that squad.
I saw a lot from Seoul today. I actually kind of quasi believe in Seoul today.
And I think Dynasty fans, I think that it's now a safe time to start saying, you know what? Our team's pretty good. I think that we're going to be winning series. I think that we might have an opportunity to go forward in the playoffs. But there's still plenty of time for that to happen. So you never know what could occur, but it's trending upward at a staggering rate right now for the Seoul Dynasty. We're not done, though, guys. That's just our first series. We have one more for you today. And I don't know. This could just be another 3-0, just being real with you. Shanghai Dragons going up against the London Spitfire. London did not look great yesterday. They need to bounce back. If they can have a close series versus Shanghai, it would be a major boon for them. So we'll see if they can do that when we come back for that second match. Stay tuned.